I'd like to call this meeting of the House Local Government Committee to order, and I'll ask Christina to please take the roll of the members.
Chairman Freeman.
Here.
Representatives Borowski, Fleming, Donahue,
Vote by designation.
Fleming,
Vote by designation.
Haddock, Hambidge, Kazim,
Vote by designation.
Madsen, Monroe,
Vote by designation.
Probst, Prokopiak, Salisbury, Sappy, Smith-Waddell.
Vote by designation.
Chairman Miller.
Here.
Representatives Banta, Cooper, Fink, Jones,
By designation.
Kozak,
By designation.
Kuzma,
By designation.
Reichard, Rinkavage,
By designation.
Wattrow,
By designation.
Weekneck, Wentling.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. To begin our meeting, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and call upon Chairman Miller to lead us in the pledge. Thank you, Chairman. Before we get into our agenda, I do want to make a few introductions. We have with us Sharira Palmer. She's in the back there if she wants to stand briefly. Sharisa Palmer. She's participating in the House Legislative Fellowship Program for the fall semester and has been assigned to the Local Government Committee. A native of Philly, she resides in Derry Township, Dauphin County at the moment, and is attending Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, majoring in criminology and leadership for her PhD candidacy. And we also have Andrew Roof. Andrew, if you want to stand. He's a research analyst that has been assigned to us to do from the Democratic Policy Research Effort. So I wanted to make sure he was recognized too. Two quick announcements before we get into the meat of our meeting. We have on our agenda two bills, House Bill 1204, sponsored by Representative Zimmerman, and House Bill 1713, sponsored by myself. We will not be taking them up today. We're going to hold them for our next meeting. Representative Zimmerman's bill deals with the state highway law to require PennDOT to construct and maintain stormwater facilities connected with state highways in boroughs and incorporated towns. We did discover that although I have an amendment that broadens it to include all municipalities, and Chairman Miller was the first to recognize some of the shortcomings in the language of the bill, he also has an amendment that would also broaden it with slightly different variation. But I commend Chairman Miller for bringing to our attention too that if we take the bill up with either amendment, we still leave intact a section of the state highway law that would contradict our amendments as far as what we can or cannot cover. So we're going to work on language to try and amend that section, as well as give us both the opportunity to put forward our amendments at a later date. So stay tuned. And the second one, my bill 1713, dealing with limited liability for properties that are taken over by a land bank. This is something that has passed both chambers at various times, but we were asked if we could hold it for the next meeting, as there were some concerns about raising questions to get a better handle on the liability limitations. So we'll deal with that at our next meeting. That being said, I would like to bring up House Bill 1720. I'm the sponsor of it, amending the second-class township code to change the date of filing of annual financial reports. And we do have with us the members of the Local Government Commission. If one of them or both of them can stand forward and give us a brief overview on the legislation.
All right. Good morning.
You please introduce yourselves.
All right. Yes. Good morning. My name is Rex Berman, research analyst for the Local Government Commission, and with me here is Chris Gazy, our assistant director for the Local Government Commission. So, good morning. Good morning, and thank you, Chairman Freeman and Chairman Miller, for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Local Government Commission. House Bill 1720 will amend the second-class township code, which will change the filing date of the annual township report and financial statement. The current law gives townships of the second class up to the first day of April to complete, file, and publish their township reports. This bill will amend the law to change the filing date to the last day of June of every year. Similarly, House Bill 1787 will amend will amend one of the sections of Title 8 and also of Title 11 to also extend the filing date of the annual financial reports for the boroughs and the cities of the third class, respectively, from within 90 days of the close of the fiscal year to the last day of June. By extending the date to June 30th, it will relieve the municipality's board of auditors or the independent auditors from rushing to meet the April 1 deadline, which happens to be the same period many of people are filing and preparing their personal taxes. So for context, there have been 551 municipalities that were unable to submit their financial reports on time in 2024. Passage of these bills will result in more timely audits and annual financial reports being submitted. These bills are legislative priorities and supported by the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors and the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs and the Pennsylvania Municipal League. The Department of Community and Economic Development have also contributed to the development of these bills. So I know we're supposed to talk about House Bill 1720, but I also included House Bill 1787 because of their similar language in both bills. So I thank you, and we are open to any questions you may have.
Mr. Ghazi, do you have any comments?
No, I think Rex covered the bases.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments by the members at this time? If not, then I would like to make the motion to have the bill reported as committed. Voice vote okay? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? It will be unanimously reported to the floor. Our next bill to be brought up is House Bill 1787 by Representative Sappi, also a commission bill. And if Representative Sappi, did you want to make comment or just defer to the commission at this point?
No, I think the commission did a great job.
Okay. Did you have anything to follow up on besides your original comments?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay. Chris, anything? Alrighty then. Any comments, questions to be raised? Mr. Haddock?
Yeah, and it's as a former mayor of Avoca, we did struggle with this very issue. When your accountant has so much work to do because of April the 1st. So this is a common sense piece of legislation, as was the prior. So this truthfully is a help to boroughs.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments and your experience as well. Any other comments or questions, members? Seeing none, I then will entertain a motion to report the bill. Representative Sappi makes the motion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any no votes? Okay, unanimously will be reported to the House floor. That brings us to our third commission bill, House Bill 1852. Chairman Miller, did you want to make some comment before we? Oh, I'm sorry, 1856, my apologies. House Bill 1856, prime sponsored by Chairman Miller. Did you want to make any comments before we defer to the commission members? Okay. Chairman says you may proceed as far as your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Miller. So this piece has to do with the process of mowing operations in second-class townships. As you have probably seen at some point or another, or been stuck behind a lawnmower mowing the edge of the cartway, particularly on a rural road, most of the time it is required that there is a shadow vehicle following that lawnmower mowing operation. And this is because PennDOT has a requirement in one of its publications that whenever the mowing operations may enter the right-of-way, not necessarily the actual portion of the road where the driving is occurring, but the right-of-way at all, that the mowing operations have to include a shadow car for to alert drivers that this is going on in the area. The challenge is that this is not always the safer situation. Drivers end up passing both vehicles at the same time instead of passing just the lawnmower, which is typically on the grass, not on the road. And it kind of implicates one of the key provisions of the relationship between municipalities and PennDOT. There's a provision in Title 75 that essentially says on local roads, local authorities are responsible for the health, safety, and welfare of the operation of those roads and transportation, and on state roads, PennDOT is. But in this particular case, this is an area where PennDOT's regulation extends into local control. So the Association of Township Supervisors had a resolution, could not think of that word, asking that local control be returned on this particular item. Essentially, that communities have the ability to say, this is a situation where we think it is safe enough without the shadow vehicle. Maybe this is a situation that it's not, but it'd be a local decision. So this amends the second-class township code, essentially to do exactly that, return the decision as to whether a shadow vehicle is necessary to provide for safety of mowing operations or not to the hands of the township supervisors. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Chairman Miller, do you have any comments?
I would just add a couple of things. First, thank you for your summary of that. And it is right, the PSAT's put together a resolution asking for this change. And it maintains the ability of municipalities to, in fact, have a shadow vehicle if they think a certain stretch of their municipality needs that. But they maintain that control to decide. And it will allow equipment to be freed up to be used other places, as well as manpower, helping to reduce costs. And like Representative Haddock said, would be, I believe, a real help to municipalities in this regard. So I would appreciate a yes vote on the bill, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Miller. I have to note, too, I was contacted by a supervisor in Williams Township in my district, and they brought this to my attention a number of months ago as a concern, and one that they hope could be addressed. So we're doing that now. Are there any questions or comments? Representative Madsen?
It seems obvious, but is PennDOT okay with this change or legislation?
So far, we've not heard back on them. Has the commission heard anything from PennDOT regarding the issue?
No, we don't have any feedback from PennDOT on the issue.
Okay. Yeah, and I've been told in some cases that shadow car can cause some confusion to motorists passing by, which can make it more hazardous rather than a safer circumstance in which to mow.
Okay.
But so far, PennDOT is mute. Any other questions or issues to be raised? Okay. In that case, Representative Miller makes the motion to report the bill to the floor of the House. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously, and the bill will be sent to the floor of the House. That brings us to our next bill, House Bill 1875, prime sponsored by Representative Nikki Rivera. And I'll turn to John Costelli to give a brief overview and then ask if the prime sponsor wishes to make some comments after that.
House Bill 1875 is Representative Rivera's bill. Is this on?
Not working?
House Bill. No, it's not.
Yeah, you can use mine.
Okay, House Bill 1875 is Representative Rivera's bill. It would amend the first-class township code to increase the statutory maximum amounts that may be levied for fire and EMS special purpose taxes in such townships. And specifically, it would amend the code to increase the amount a township is allowed to levy for the special purpose fire tax from 3 mills to 10 mills, and would increase the amount that can be levied for the EMS special purpose tax from 1/2 mil to 5 mills. And this would bring into uniformity the first-class township code with authorization that was granted to certain townships in 2A counties that are contiguous to Philadelphia, and that was done through the fiscal code, giving them the higher statutory limits.
Thank you for that overview. Representative Rivera, welcome to the committee, and if you'd like to make some comments, we'll be happy to entertain them.
Hi there. Thank you for your time today, Chairman Freeman. I appreciate the invitation to talk about this. As a newbie, I got a phone call from one of my first-class townships. I represent Manheim Township in Lancaster, close to Lancaster City. And the manager's question was, why can't we have the same rules for using fire and EMS millage as Philadelphia and the collar counties around it? So I looked into that. And it seems that we need to take each category one by one to make those changes. We can't do a full Pennsylvania fell swoop. And as we know, our local fire and emergency medical services in our first-class townships are struggling due to staff shortages, sustainable funding, and the like. We have 93 first-class townships in Pennsylvania that can levy their dedicated fire and emergency service taxes. If they need more than what they have allotted, they have to go to their general fund to get those. In order to avoid that, they would like to be caught up with what Philadelphia and the surrounding counties do, which is to have the ability, the local control, to levy the tax up to that maximum amount that is currently enjoyed by southeastern PA. So the ask is simply to bring first-class townships up to the same standard in allowing fire and EMS millage allotment as the municipality sees fit for the needs of the district.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions of the prime sponsor or any issues to be raised? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to a vote to, oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the, Chairman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. And this bill is similar to a bill we've taken up a couple months ago. Same basic format, same basic idea, but the provisions for my opposition, and I believe why this bill should be voting down, is first of all, this is a huge tax increase. This can go up to a 900% depending on how you look at it, or it's a pretty big potential tax increase. Second thing, municipalities can already do this right now. They could raise, through their general appropriations, they could raise taxes and then apply whatever amount of money they think is necessary towards the fire or EMS services. So we don't need to raise this. The other issue here is this bill currently, the law allows for the provision of making the case to the voters to raise this tax above the 3, in this case, if they want to, by going to a referendum. The question is, why wouldn't we go to asking the people? Why would we want to not have the people weigh in on whether or not they want their taxes raised? After all, it is their community, their money, and they can help decide the issue about whether or not they want their millage raised for the fire and or the EMS. So for those reasons, because the law already contains the provision that the people can raise the taxes now, I don't think this bill is necessary, and it keeps the referendum concept, and that's why I would urge a no vote. So with that, thank you.
I thank the gentleman. Just to take note, the Professional Firefighters Association is supportive of this bill. They see it as a way to create a refined, reliable funding mechanism for fire and emergency response services at the local level, and so they're very supportive in that regard. I would note, too, that even though the chairman is correct that regular millage could be raised and then appropriated for these purposes, I think carving it out as we already have in the law, though at a lower level, is a way of making it clear that those will be used from the start solely for the purposes of our fire and our emergency services. And again, it's not something a municipality has to do, but that leeway is there if the need arises within their community. So I think it's a good proposal, just as Representative Paley's was when it came before us, and I would urge a yes vote. Is there any other comment or questions? Representative Rivera.
If I may make another comment, I think the very reason for the proposal is to not have to take out of the general fund, because we already have the majority of our fire departments on volunteer services and not paid services. And I think we can all agree that fire and EMS are critical services for our communities. So allowing these transfers of mills to happen when they're needed and not then decide to create legislation to hopefully get it implemented, I think is the point of this. It is a proactive method of getting mills to fire and EMS as a municipality sees fit.
Point well taken. Representative Reichert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question. If a municipality is undergoing arbitration for a collective bargaining agreement, how do arbitrators look at taxing ability as far as a millage cap increase in determining or forcing, I guess, municipalities to agree to certain collective bargaining increases?
Interesting question. I'm not quite sure the answer to that, and whether their authority could force the hand of the municipality in that regard. I've not come across that, but that doesn't say that it might not be consideration of some sort. Yeah. Representative Cooper.
Thank you for bringing the bill to our attention. I have a question. You had mentioned in your own local district, they came to you and said, hey, we would like to increase how much we're taxing for, or increase the amount of...
That they can allot.
Yeah, that
to fire and EMS from what they currently are allowed to allot.
So my question is, are they doing that, are they allotting that amount every year? Of the 93, are they all maxing out? And is that why you want to raise the amount?
No. Well, my district, my first-class township supervisor has told me that he is not looking to raise the mills allotted to fire and EMS right now. But if we're in the position where that would be needed, he would want the ability to do that, just like other communities are able to in Pennsylvania.
So out of the 93, how many are maxed out? And like, if you raise it in 1 year, you can then raise again the next year, right?
To the maximum, well,
Right,
to the maximum
amount. So out of the 93, how many keep raising that? And so that we really would need to expand it. Do we have that
Right.
data?
I don't have a number on what that might be. It's currently not happening because they can't raise it beyond.
But they could raise every year. So out of the 93, how many have raised, 5 years consecutively or 3
I don't have that
years?
number.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Sorry, thank you.
Representative Probst and then Representative Borowski.
Thank you for to the maker of the bill. As a former mayor, I just like local control, and that's the bottom line. And if we give local control to local governments like they deserve, then they will be the deciding factor of whether their areas need, fire, EMS, tax, whatever. So I thank you for doing that, because right now their hands are tied. And I can tell you from my experience as a former mayor that for some reason, people don't mind when it's for fire and EMS and police, right? We have a regionalized police department where I'm at. But yet, if they just raise the taxes because they need all this, people are up in arms. If they know exactly what their taxes are being raised for and why, I feel that you're giving the local control for them to do that, and I like that personally. So thank you for bringing this bill, even though I don't have a first-class township.
Thank you for your comments. Representative Borowski.
So I'm going to echo what my colleague Rep. Probst said, and thank you, Representative Rivera, for bringing this forward. So I'm a former township commissioner of a first-class township who did raise millage in order to support our volunteer fire and EMS. And I think having this ability, and again, it is about local control. You sitting there as the local elected, you are the one who has to answer to your community. And I think this is just giving them another tool in the toolbox to be able to support our fire and EMS, which we know are so desperately in need of funding sources. So And the proactive nature of this, so I represent 4 municipalities in Delaware County. We recently lost one of our major health systems that provided about 51% of the EMS services to our county. And when I tell you, people were scrambling. They shut the hospital down within about 4 weeks' notice. We lost the EMS services. The communities were going out and signing huge contracts with EMS providers that were, in some cases, I think, preying on what they knew was, they're not providing good service, but the contracts that some of these municipalities were signing were huge, but they had no choice because here in Pennsylvania, it is the municipality's responsibility to provide EMS services. So I think that having this again, and I think we were taking up another one for the boroughs, right? Jimmy is yours. So I think having these in a proactive way, giving municipalities the opportunity, because they are going to have to raise taxes. They are going to have to do that because the health system that was providing the EMS is gone. But giving them an opportunity and I think a very transparent way of doing that is an excellent tool for them to be able to use. So I thank you very much, and I will be supporting the legislation.
Thank you for your comments. And I think the point is well taken, too, that by raising this limit, it's an assurance that it's going to go for EMS and firefighters. Chairman Miller was absolutely correct. That could be done out of their general millage, but there's no guarantee that appropriation will continue over time. It could be moved in a different budget year, election of a different board of supervisors. Any of that could, or commissioners, any of that could take place and alter the actual commitment to the EMS and the firefighters, which is, once it's there, is something they depend upon to operate properly, too. So I think that's a consideration. Any other, Representative Sappi.
I just want to comment and thank the maker of the bill for this, because I strongly believe in giving our municipalities the tools they need to support residents. We have, in my district and in our area, fire companies that are now starting to regionalize and consolidate in order to maximize the resources they have, and they are still finding tremendous challenges making this work. And they're starting to pay firefighters. They're not, it's not a unionized thing, but they're paying firefighters. So we're going to pay for this protection either by paid fire companies or, salaried and paid firefighters, or giving them the option, to expand that cap. So it's important to keep this in front of the public as well. This is their protection, and I think they usually support it.
Thank the lady for her comments. Any other questions? Representative Reichert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to belabor this. To your point, the general fund millage rate can be raised and lowered. I guess so can the EMS tax, but a referendum does give it a little bit more popular legitimacy and indicates where I guess the voters might be on the particular issue and make it a little bit more difficult. But I guess my question is, ultimately, property taxes are a function of assessed value of the properties in a municipality. When we look at the areas in which this would more particularly impact, right? Places that are up against their cap. Do we have any information or any data on whether those counties have had reassessments done recently and that their millage rates might be out of whack due to outdated reassessments, or is it just a function of an increase in the cost of EMS and fire?
I would venture to guess it's a response to the cost of EMS and fire, particularly with the extensive training that's required and the equipment that's required. You've touched on a very good issue. Reassessment reform is something this legislature should take up. But that's sort of the third rail of local politics, as there doesn't seem to be a political will to bring it up. We have in the past had hearings by the Local Government Commission on reassessment. It was very extensive, a good report. And it is probably a good guide to still refer to in terms of the reassessment issue, but something we as a legislature should at some point definitely take up and look at. Any other comments or points to be made? Chairman Miller, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to just give a couple summary comments. First of all, this law that we're undertaking to change here today it was passed in 1975. And at that time, the people thought it wise to put in the concept of a cap to allow flexibility for local municipalities, but also to give the referendum concept so the voters could weigh in on whether or not they wanted to go above the particular cap. So that provision remains here as well, except what we have is right now you have a 3% cap, which a municipality could go up to if they want, year one, and year two, go up another 3, year 3, another 3, and keep going up 3 if they so choose. This particular bill will allow them to go up to 10%, 10%, 10%, beyond that with no referendum. I think this, as was mentioned several times here about the importance of fire and EMS, which I think we would all agree with, is a key consideration of the work of a municipal official, certainly. But it was mentioned here that the local people generally would support that. And so I think if a referendum were brought to the people, hey, we need to go above the 3 because of various reasons, you make the case and let the people decide. If they're supportive, as was mentioned here, they could support it. But to have that 10% and then 10% and then 10%, I think is a flexibility that is beyond what was contemplated originally, nor what I think is wise, particularly with the provision that if a municipality wanted to, they could utilize the 3%, we'll say, but then they could, through their general appropriations, raise taxes to apply it to the needs of the community. So again, for that reason, I think the current standing of the law is better, and I will not be supporting this particular bill, so thank you.
Thank the gentleman for his comments. I'm sorry, Representative Paddock, okay. Yeah, I would note too that the commissioners would be held accountable for their votes on the commission as well. So there is a referendum every time they stand for election if they intended to push this too far forward for the stomach of the community as a whole. Representative Probst.
Just for the record, Chairman Miller, I know you kept saying percent. It's not a percent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant millage. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Since there is some division on the issue, I'm going to ask Christina to please call the roll. Oh, we need a motion to bring it up. Is there a motion? Moved by Mr. Haddock. Okay.
Chairman Freeman.
Yes.
Representatives Borowski, Donahue,
Designation yes.
Fleming,
Designation yes.
Haddock, Hambidge, Kazim,
Designation yes.
Madsen, Monroe,
Designation yes.
Probst, Prokopiak, Salisbury, Sappy, Smith-Waddell.
Designation yes.
Chairman Miller.
No.
Representatives Banta, Cooper,
By designation, no.
Fink, Jones,
Designation, no.
Kozak,
Designation, no.
Kuzma,
Designation, no.
Reichard, Rinkavage,
Designation, no.
Watro,
Designation, no.
Weakneck, Wentling. 14 yeas, 12 nays.
The vote is 14 yeas, 12 nays. The bill will be reported to the full House for consideration. That brings us up to our last bill today, which I'm calling up, House Bill 1893 by Representative Haddock, which provides similar maximum levels of funding, or millage rather, for fire and emergency in boroughs. With that, John, I'll ask you for a brief overview, and then we'll turn to Representative Haddock for some comments. Oh, Representative Rivera, thank you very much for your time today.
Okay, House Bill 1893, sponsored by Representative Haddock, would increase the statutory maximum amounts that may be levied for fire and EMS special purpose taxes in boroughs. This mirrors Representative Rivera's bill. Specifically, it would amend the code to increase the amount a borough may levy for the special purpose fire tax from 3 mills to 10 mills, and would increase the amount that can be levied for the special purpose EMS tax from 1/2 mil to 5 mills. And again, this would bring uniformity as Act 54 of 2024 amended the fiscal code, granting boroughs in 2A counties that are contiguous to Philadelphia these higher statutory amounts.
Representative Haddock, would you like to be recognized for some comments?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill is very similar to 1875 that we just went over, so I'll just give some highlights. This case, it grants boroughs the right that exists throughout in certain areas of our state currently for other forms of government. So sometimes we hear this argument, why does a region or why does the city of the first class or the contiguous counties to the first class have different rights than the rest of Pennsylvania? This bill grants 950 boroughs throughout the state of Pennsylvania the same rights. It gives the right to take 3 mills dedicated up to 10 mills dedicated for fire, and it takes a half a mill up to 5 mills dedicated for EMS services in all boroughs. As I said earlier, I was a former mayor of Avoca. We actually looked, and somebody brought up assessments, a great question. Luzerne County did do a recent reassessment of the county. My small town that has history back to coal, 150-year-old town, when we reassessed our town assessments, because they were existing homes and older homes, ironically went down. People in small towns, when the county reassessed, our net value of our assessment went down because the growth areas had the mansions, the new homes, and the much higher tax base. So reassessment actually hurt some small towns that were older. And if you think it through, it sounds right. So this bill, we could not raise enough money to actually implement this program because it wasn't enough. A half a mil for EMS services just wouldn't bring in, it wasn't worth it. So maybe I date myself, but I remember Reaganomics. And at that time, governments thought of kicking control back to the local governments, whether it was the state or from the state down to the county, down to the local government. So Reaganomics wanted local control, the power of the people. The people also represent, they vote for their representatives. They vote for, in this case, of the borough, they vote for the town council and mayor. So the people do have a vote in this matter. Studies show that when you tell people that you're going to tax them, and it's for fire, it's a dedicated tax, it's more palatable. If they know that the tax is going definitely for fire protection, for EMS protection, basic needs of all residents of Pennsylvania, it's more palatable to the voter, to the taxpayer. So this bill unifies the tax code for our boroughs throughout the state. 950 boroughs, I'll give you an example. 353 boroughs instituted a fire tax. Not sure if it was the full boat, but they have a dedicated source. So roughly a little over a third. I didn't do the exact maths. Now, interestingly, for EMS, only 76. So there was 353 boroughs that knew they could raise enough money to make an impacted fund for fire, but only 76 raised it because it was a half of a mil. It wasn't even worth the paperwork to raise that money in my borough. So, you know, I'm asking, we voted, we expanded this right to townships of the second class in the last session. I think it's nice to give control back to our local governments. This is an option. This is a tool in the tool shed for elected leaders of their respective communities, and who knows the needs of their local government better than the smallest and the first step in government, the town officials. So I ask for support of House Bill 1893. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman for his comments. Were there other members who want to be recognized? Representative Fink, followed by Representative Probst.
So we keep hearing that the constituents, the voters, would be in favor of raising taxes for fire and EMS, which I happen to agree with. But if they would be in favor of this, then I'm not sure why we have a problem with it going to referendum, which is the way that it's set up right now. I am about giving local control, but this would going to the referendum gives the voters, the constituents, the control, not necessarily their elected officials. And also we're hearing that these boroughs and townships are not maxing out, that they don't need it to be raised. So I'm not even sure what the point of this legislation is. I'm going to be a no. We're in this legislation, we're voting to allow the raising of taxes that's not needed, and they can already do through referendum, which everybody here is stating that the voters will be in favor of. So I'm not seeing the point of the legislation. I'll be a no.
Representative Probst.
In the 189th district, and you can look it up, I have the longest commutes in the nation. I have all volunteer fire companies. It's harder and harder and harder to even get volunteer firemen because it's not the old days of working, 9 to 5 and being at the firehouse. People are 2 hours on the road commuting back and forth to work. It's already a struggle. And it makes me sad when I have to see my local fire department and in my municipalities standing outside with a bucket trying to raise money. They have to pay. I mean, everything is so expensive, from the apparatus to the fire trucks to everything. And if you're in a borough like Stroudsburg, that's a county seat, that the county's taken over buildings, PennDOT's taken over buildings, there's a lower tax base. We just keep getting hammered. And for a referendum, number one, what's the voter turnout? What do we have, 23% come out the last local election? Because number one, half of my people have to work in New York or New Jersey to put food on the table. And I don't understand how this isn't going to be a unanimous vote. Everybody here has a local fire company. Everybody here knows the struggles. And if you're not in local government, go knock on the door of your local government and see what the line item is for fire and EMS. I live it. And it's dangerous, and we're getting to dangerous lows. And again, people will complain when their taxes are being raised. But whenever it's a dedicated tax to an EMS or a fire, they know that that fire company is going to protect them when they need it most, and they don't complain about it. And I mean, they'll complain about other taxes, and I'm one of them, but not that. So I thank you for bringing this bill. It's going to help a lot of boroughs in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
I thank the lady for her comments. Representative Sappy?
I do want to point out, thank you for this also, that this process is transparent and open to the public already. Every single township meeting and borough meeting is open to the public, with public comment available at every meeting, and these things are debated openly before they're voted on. So the public does have access to this information before it's put into place.
Point well taken. I did also want to reference a letter from the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs from Ron Gritza, the Senior Director of Government Affairs. He notes that, as you know, the fire and EMS services have experienced great challenges in funding and recruitment, which speaks to Representative Probst's issue. Some boroughs are struggling to provide adequate funding to keep up with an increase in demand from fire and EMS agencies. A borough official recently told him that if HB 1893 was enacted, it would make recruitment of new volunteers for the fire service easier. Many potential volunteer firefighters do not want to spend their time fundraising, as they currently have to do to make ends meet. If a borough could increase their fire tax, it could mean more volunteer firefighters within the community, which is a very important safety consideration in communities of Pennsylvania. So just wanted to make sure that we were aware of that communication. Any other question? Statement by Representative Miller, Chairman Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just add that the comments about which I made on the previous bill apply here. The current status can provide for all of the needs of the local fire and EMS under the current law, and provide also for the ultimate and local control, which is a referendum vote. So I would encourage a no vote on this bill. Thank you.
I thank the gentleman. One consideration too, and I'm not sure how many boroughs would fall into this category, but many boroughs being small, not very wealthy in terms of their tax base, many of them might already be hitting their ceiling under the existing millage that's permitted for them to levy. So to have them raise that to deal with this issue, when this would afford another opportunity to find funding through a specific tax for fire and EMS, is something to take in consideration. Many of our smaller communities struggle to be able to raise the funds they need to continue essential services. So it's not always easy enough just to raise the millage as a whole. So just food for thought. Any other comments or questions before we move to a vote? Okay. The motion to report the bill is made by Mr. Haddock. We will take a roll call vote on that.
Chairman Freeman.
Yes.
Representatives Borowski, Donahue,
Designation yes.
Fleming, Haddock, Hambidge, Kazim,
Designation yes.
Madsen, Monroe,
Designation yes.
Probst, Prokopiak, Salisbury, Sappy, Smith-Waddell.
Designation yes.
Chairman Miller.
No.
Representatives Banta, Cooper,
Designation no.
Fink,
No.
Jones,
Designation no.
Kozak,
Designation no.
Kuzma,
Designation no.
Reichard,
Designation no.
Rinkavage,
Designation no.
Watro,
Designation no.
Weakneck, Wentling.
Okay.
1412.
The vote is 14-12. The bill will be reported to the committee or to the floor of the House. Congratulations, Representative Haddock. One quick announcement before we adjourn for today. Tomorrow, the Local Government Commission is holding their local government symposium, so you're all welcome to observe it. It's being done virtually. You can go to lgc.state.pa.us for more information regarding it. They have a good series of seminars dealing with municipal financial safeguards, community benefits agreements, artificial intelligence use in local government, and public demonstrations and First Amendment considerations. So for those who are inclined, I'd urge you to tune in tomorrow. That being said, is there any other business to be brought before the committee? If not, I declare this meeting of the House Local Government Committee adjourned.